Hello, everybody. This is Kelly Cook with Everything Phoenix. We are live here and we are discussing an Airbnb bust in the Phoenix area. VRBOs, too, by the way, short term rentals, and some development issues, right? What do we have going on with resorts? Resorts are big, guys, in Scottsdale, and we're going to go over some of the resorts. We're going to go over a market update, and we're going to go over some other interesting things, mortgage rates, things of that nature, and how they're affecting the marketplace. We're going to go over the Super Bowl recap, guys. We just got done with Super Bowl 58, and it was amazing, absolutely amazing. So very a phenomenal weekend, right? When you have the Waste Management Phoenix Open, the PGA Tour event, and you have the Super Bowl as well, guys. So we're going to cover the impact on it and some other fun things here in the Phoenix area, guys. It was a weekend to remember here as a Phoenician. So very glad that you're joining us. Please, if you don't mind, hit the like button and or subscribe, even better, and get us out to more and more people that could actually benefit from hearing our services here, guys, today. So we're gonna get rocking and rolling here and get my headphones right and get started on some stuff here, guys. But if you don't mind, let us know where you're watching from, guys. Let us know where you're watching from. Put it in there. Put it in the city, state. We'd love to see who is watching from where, and maybe we can tailor some of the information towards that. I don't know. But you can also comment or ask a question, and we can answer those here live on our YouTube live. All right, guys, about Everything Phoenix. We have all kinds of puns here going on here, but we're going to get started. Let's get rocking and rolling here in terms of the Airbnb hangover, right? What's going on? Is there a bust in the Phoenix area? Well, here we go, guys. This came out from Business Insider just after this past weekend. And says a manager of over 95 Phoenix Airbnbs is stunned that half of his homes are empty over Super Bowl weekend, guys. This is interesting because the numbers are 52%, guys. Only 52% of all short-term rentals in the Phoenix area actually rented this past weekend, guys. So it's incredible how that works and why it wasn't as high of demand. We're going to dive into that and figure out why that is, guys, because you may own a short-term rental. You may be thinking about having a short-term rental. Now, let's be honest here, guys. There are two types of people here, right, that own short-term rentals. So the people who actually do it for strictly an investment, and they might even live here locally. They're never going to use the property for themselves, let's say. But you also have the people who, and we deal with a lot of them, who actually buy a lot of investment properties, and they choose to buy short-term rentals because of the ability to use it when they're not here in the Scottsdale, Phoenix area. And when they are, they use it, right? It has the furniture. It has the silverware. It has everything they need for them to feel comfortable in their own house, so to speak. But when they're not here because they may only spend 2 weeks, 3 weeks here the entire year, yes, that's right, guys. That happens a lot. There's a lot of people that own a second home that only spend a week to 2 or 3 weeks the entire year in their house. It sits vacant the rest of the year. Or here comes Airbnb and VRBO. And now there's a solution for them to make some cash, a little return on their money, if you will, right? And maybe some upkeep on the property that is done for them since they're not here while they're not using the property. And they make some money. It's a great alternative, right? The sharing economy. It's part of that. So, that all being said, what happened? Because it was a lot lower of a rental rate than it was in 2015, the last time the Super Bowl visited Arizona. So it should have been the busiest weekend in years for Phoenix's Airbnb host, right? And we won't read the whole article. You know how we roll here, right? But it gives a couple examples of people who had their homes up and didn't get leased out. But this is interesting, right? Because it talks about right here, according to AirDNA, by the way, if you don't have AirDNA and you have a short-term rental or thinking about it, you better subscribe and buy the service, guys. Their data is, in my opinion, the best data out there. It is legitimate, right? It will give you forecasted and pro forma information for the property you own or you may be looking to buy and what you can expect for revenue. Right now, the data is lagging. Let's be clear about that right now because there's an oversupply of Airbnbs out there, but it's still the best data out there. So 52% of available Phoenix rentals were booked. That's it. The site found that 2 recent Super Bowl host cities, LA and Miami, had over 80% of the short-term rentals booked on their game weekends. That is a fumble, according to right here, right? It's interesting. But why is that? What's going on? Well, what they're saying is, by the way, beautiful, right? That stadium looked great for Super Bowl. There's the grounds of the big toaster oven, they call it, where the Cardinals play. And what they talk about is, let me get down here where they talk about here. So, okay, the last time Phoenix hosted a Super Bowl in 2015, Airbnb hosts in the area collectively earned more than $1.1 million over that weekend. That's incredible. Okay. But what they're saying is that a lot of people jumped in. They jumped in last year, A, because rates were low. B, inflation was occurring. So real estate values were increasing. Appreciation was happening at an all-time rate. And so people were jumping in saying, this is a good investment. I can't lose. And by the way, in addition to just buying it, I'm going to hold it and I'm going to make it a short-term rental, a furnished rental, Airbnb, and I will kill it, right? Appreciation will go continue like it always does, right? Right? No, it's cyclical. It goes up, it goes down, right? But a lot of people don't think that way, and they think they're going to rent it out. And the Super Bowl is coming in less than a year. Let's say this is 2022, and I'm just gonna. This is a sound investment. Well, a lot of people thought the same way. Money was cheap, like I said, when you bought it, or excuse me, when you bought the property and got a loan on the property. And so they jumped in head first, and now we have the situation where we have an oversupply of Airbnbs, and that was the reason why the fumble occurred for Phoenix Airbnb homeowners, right? So if you go back over here, share my screen here with you guys. It talks about right here that Phoenix will continue to be a popular vacation spot. Harvey predicted that the Super Bowl disappointment would motivate some owners to sell their short-term rental properties. We'll see some of these people exit, he told Insider. I'm sure of it. And guys, I agree. I do think this is going to cause some people to exit and sell their property that's an Airbnb. Now, if they just bought it last year, they could have some problems on their hands. Why? Because you look at, the Cromford index, right? Little spoiler alert here. Look at the annual appreciation. Look at that. This is Phoenix right here, right? Look at this nice little bell curve, if you will. You're almost at the same number you were this time in 2021. Okay. 2 years ago. That's Phoenix. Now we can overlay, we'll play with this map here in just a second. Okay. But this is just verifying that if somebody bought a house in 2022, there's a good chance they won't be able to sell it and make some money. So they are on the hook now. What will they do? They don't have equity. They could still sell it and maybe just lose money because they maybe had a 20 or 25 or 30% down payment, but they'll lose money. So, that being said, what will happen there? There could be a good buying opportunity for somebody who wants to jump in to be a long-term Airbnb investor, knowing that in the short term, the numbers may be a little tight. Okay. Now let's jump over here while we're on the Super Bowl. Let's do a little recap here. Now, Rihanna, all the reviews were good, right? That apparently she killed it when it came to the halftime show for the Super Bowl. And this is her announcement that she's pregnant, I guess, too, right? That's crazy. It's funny because all the women at the Super Bowl party I was at were like, that's a crazy way to make a pregnancy announcement. And all the guys were like, what? They were just confused for about, 5 seconds going, oh, she's pregnant? I didn't even know, right? Like none of the guys are even aware, right? It's actually pretty hilarious. But all the women were like, oh my goodness, she's pregnant. And we're like, what? What are you talking about? So that's interesting how, the dynamics between males and females, right? But she was, and she did a great job, right? If I was a critic for a Super Bowl halftime show, I would say she did a good job. And this article talks about it. What did she get paid? This is just curiosity now, right, guys? Do you ever wonder what they get paid? I thought it'd probably be quite a bit. And guess what they make? Zero. Now they get everything taken care of, all their travel and everything, right? Accommodations, but they don't make anything. They do it for the what? It's not that hard to figure out, right? The exposure, okay? Right here, artists like Rihanna play the Super Bowl for the exposure, and there's all kinds of data backing that up. I think one of it was, and by the way, on this article right here, you can get her halftime show soundtrack or her playlist, if you will, right? Which is kind of cool. But they talked about one of the Lady Gaga right here saw a 1,000% increase in song and album sales after the Super Bowl in 2017. So big time exposure. Rihanna's probably, they said a lot of these artists will go on a tour, right? After the Super Bowl. And that's good. This is a good pub for that. She's obviously not going to because obviously she's pregnant. However, she'll probably get a huge boost in album and song sales right after her performance on the Super Bowl. So I thought that was interesting, guys. Something kind of different to throw into the Everything Phoenix YouTube live. All right, guys, let us know where you were listening. I know some people are listening to this live here. I'd love to know where you're listening from. Ask a question. Don't be shy. I'd love to answer it for you if there's anything that's burning out there that you want to know about. All right, some more recap here real quick. The weekend for the Super Bowl. Here's what happened, right? A lot of parties. Go figure. Party on! Stars come out for the Super Bowl festivities, and primarily at Talking Stick Resort, which is located in Phoenix. We talk about it a lot. But there's Guy Fieri, right? And he's doing his thing the day of the Super Bowl. Look at all the people, the party. It was crazy. All kinds of pictures. Um, that was one event. You had another one called the Sports Illustrated event, right? And you had Emmitt Smith and Guy Fieri at that one, right, as well. And then you had Shaq having his party at the Talking Stick Resort as well, the Funhouse. You also had Machine Gun Kelly, Chainsmokers, all kinds of artists performing there. And there's Shaq. And Shaq had a quote saying that he thinks, was it right up here? He thinks that right here, after tonight, Scottsdale will be his number one, and Miami will go to number two. How about that, right? So there's something about being in the desert that just makes people go wild. So that's kind of that's awesome. Snoop Dogg, Shaq, the whole nine yards, guys. So a lot of parties, big time exposure for Phoenix, and everyone that every review critic that I read said that Phoenix absolutely killed it. So kudos to us. We'll be seeing more events here in the future. Now, I want to take you to another amazing event that gets overshadowed by the Super Bowl when it's here because it's on the same weekend, and that's the WM Phoenix Opens golf tournament put on by the PGA Tour event. So this says it leaves other sports events in the dirt. This is pretty crazy, right? And you have, by the way, you guys know in this event, it's the greatest show on grass. It is a situation where you have a Coliseum. The 16th hole, which was started by apparently Phil Mickelson's frat buddies, right? Who wanted to go out and watch him when he first got into the golf tournament as an amateur while he's playing at Arizona State University. They came out to support him, and you know how frat guys do it, right? So they're collecting, and being by where all the beer stands are, which apparently was a beer stand by the 16 to 17, and they started getting a little rowdy, and then all of a sudden people started saying, "Man, there's a party over there. Let's go check it out." And then Tiger comes along on 1997, and he puts an ace in the hole on 16, and the place goes bananas, right? People are throwing water and beer and all kinds of fun stuff, which also, guys, is part of the reason why Tiger never came back many years later, because I think I got hit in the head in the orange one time too. So that's not good, but it's pretty crazy. And you can see some pictures right here. 3,700 general admission seats, let alone the thousands of people in the luxury boxes, right? So this is pretty crazy. And I got to show you this, guys. This is awesome here. Did you know if you were watching in 2022, a gentleman hit an ace, okay? Ace the hole. First one in a while, Sam Ryder. I want to show you this video, guys. This will be about 30 to 45 seconds of just a smile on your face, right? Because this is awesome. This is a golf tournament, right? Golf clap, right? Be quiet. Shh. No, this is just the opposite. Watch this in 2022. Look at the luxury boxes. The Coliseum. There's a GA back there. Watch this. Watch the general admission. Watch this. Look at them. Look at the beer in the water. That is so good. Look at the general admission.
Sam Ryder is now a legend here at the Coliseum on 16 at the WM Phoenix Open. This has to be a bucket list thing, right?
Bucket list. I'm telling you guys, right here in Phoenix, right here in Scottsdale. Boom. At the TPC Scottsdale. That's so good. I had to show you that, guys. Sorry. That was outstanding. So if you guys are ever thinking about catching a sporting event here in the Phoenix area, did I make a good case for you to please come down and go to the WM Phoenix Open, which is always the weekend of the Super Bowl right here in Scottsdale. You have to do it. All right, here we go. Nick, what's going on, man? When will rental prices get back to normal? Everything I've been looking at the past few weeks has had inflated prices for the Super Bowl weekend. This is true. They said, for most people, you're looking at, anywhere from a 50 to over 100% increase on the daily nightly rent, right? So it should be back to normal, if normal is anything, right? This week, actually, right away. It happens right away. In fact, I own a couple of VRBOs, AirBnBs myself, and the software you use, or someone who's not going to be on it every single day looking at it, uses, actually adjust the price immediately right after the Super Bowl, because it's smart enough. It's AI. It knows, right? So pretty cool, right? Now it's still going to be some high prices right now because we still have spring training. We're still in the season. So obviously furniture rentals are still going to be, normally higher price than they are other times of the year, but not anywhere close to where they were for Super Bowl week or weekend. T, what's going on? And the crowd goes wild. So fun. So fun. Guys, you got it. That's a golf tournament. Let me just remind you, that's not a basketball or football game, right? All right. Michael, what's going on? What's up? Good to see you again. Thanks for always supporting our channel and piping in here. Hopefully you're getting some value. All right. So we're going to jump over here and share my screen again because we have some more things to talk about, right? We can't just talk about Super Bowl recaps and Airbnbs. We have to talk about other stuff too, right? So here we go. A lot of the stuff ends up being development talk, but it's interesting. We're trying to stick on this, sport theme here, if you will, right, to an extent. But Glendale approves the new lease purchase agreement for Desert Diamond Arena. Okay, guys, this is where the Coyotes. So there's the Cardinal Stadium where the Super Bowl just was, right? Here is the old Phoenix Coyotes NHL team, their stadium right here. And it's now the Desert Diamond Arena next in the whole Westgate area, which has all kinds of shops and bars right here, right? It's a really cool Westgate entertainment district. But as you go down here, you can see that they just signed a new lease. So this is interesting. And so what's all this mean? $33 million, big numbers, right? But what this all means that City of Glendale saves some more money, which is what they're looking to do the entire time. That's why they would not renew under the terms that Phoenix Coyotes wanted them to renew under. And I don't blame them for saving $140 million. Holy cow. I don't know if I would either, right? But also, what's this being used for primarily are concerts, right? So here you go. In the past 17 years, it had its best financial performance, right? Which, because they were wide open for concerts and didn't have to worry about the professional hockey team's schedule. But you have Pearl Jam, Eric Church, Grupo, yeah. Alan Jackson, and Billie Eilish, and so on and so forth, right? And others, right? So just a little tidbit about if you're wondering what's going on in Glendale with the Phoenix Coyotes old stadium, now you know. All right, next thing, resorts, guys. So we want to talk about everything Phoenix, right? Well, what does that primarily mean? Well, three main things: all things living in Phoenix, real estate, and resorts, because that's kind of what Phoenix and Scottsdale is known for. Resorts, right? The amazing, luxurious resorts, and of course, golf and things that come with it, and of course, coffee. All right, as you guys know, if you watch the channel, we do a lot of reviews on local coffee places, right? So here we go. Scottsdale has a resort that's ranked number two in the entire country, guys. This is huge, okay? So the Phoenician, if you have not heard about it, is the number 2 ranked resort in the entire country. And if you are local watching this video here and you've never been to a brunch at the Phoenician, you need to go. Outstanding. Absolutely outstanding, guys. So a little tidbit, putting you onto that one right now. They do a phenomenal job. And I think they even have a buffet, option too as well, if you like to really eat, right? So check that out. But guys, the Phoenician is amazing. That's according to US News, and they ranked 35,000 hotels, and Phoenician number 2. Now, if you look over here, okay, here's the whole entire list for the best hotels in Arizona. Now, if you want, I could do a whole video on just this, which would be actually really fun. Get some video, of some of these places, and do a little video on just the best resorts in Arizona. But here's, according to U.S. News, here they are, right? Number 2 in the world, in the country, right here is the Phoenician. Okay, number 2 in Arizona is a Four Seasons Resort in Troon North, Ritz-Carlton in Tucson. That's the Tucson area, Marana. Mountain Shadows Resort, PV. Okay, Sedona, amazing. Sanctuary Camelback Mountain. Okay, Morristown, that's interesting. I've never been to Castle Hot Springs in Morristown, but I heard it's fantastic. You got the Boulders, you got Enchantment Canyon Ranch, the Phoenician, the luxury, there's another luxury collection. They have a different section of that. The Biltmore, and so on and so forth, guys. So Fairmont Princess, it's a 5-diamond resort right there, and so on and so forth. So we'll get back to the resorts, and we'll break down a lot of these for you guys. So if you want to travel to the Phoenix area, you have a good idea where you may want to stay, right? Because there's some really good options. All right. Let's keep running over here to some more information, guys. All right, you have a first look at Glendale's new upcoming sports complex and hotel that could open in 2024. All right, so there's a little rendering. But what's kind of cool, guys, is check this out. Right here, if they build this resort, well, I highlighted for you right there, if you can see that, field hockey. if they build this resort, they're gonna have all kinds of fun stuff. I shouldn't say resort, but sports complex on the West Valley in Glendale. Okay, they are going to hang their hat on field hockey. That's kind of cool, right? Because I heard a long time ago that it's better to be 10% different than 100% better, right? Well, there's not a lot of field hockey in Phoenix yet. The weather's perfect for it because it's an outdoor sport. So field hockey is an Olympic sport. They probably even have a professional league. I have no idea, but if you want to do some serious field hockey, where are you going to go? There, right? And so that's a pretty brilliant idea, in my opinion. Of course, they got the pickleball and the basketball and the volleyball and everything else, right? But they're looking at building this sports complex, and look at this. Some of it will be indoor. This is awesome. And actually, field hockey will be indoor too as well. So pretty cool. It's going to cost well over $100 million. Go figure. And it's going to be awesome. Now, what's really smart about this, guys, is they're looking to build a hotel with it as well, potentially, because there's another place out in the East Valley. So if you're in Phoenix, right, either the East Valley and the West Valley, and on the East Valley, you have this other place called Legacy Sports Park, or Bell Bank Park. And it's enormous, guys. All kinds. I mean, they have tournaments there every weekend from people all over the country coming in, whether it be flag football or 7-on-7 football or basketball, volleyball, all these things. And it's just a complete zoo. Now, I thought a long time ago, maybe that would be smart if I could find a vacation rental, Airbnb out there, right? Because there's no lodging nearby. And then guess what? It must have been a good idea. Why? Because the smart money followed. I haven't done it, just so you know. But now there's a proposal for a new hotel to go up outside of Bell Bank Park as well, Legacy Sports Complex on the East Valley. And this developer is saying the same thing. So they're getting it because so many different families with their kids travel on these, traveling baseball teams and all these teams, right? And they come to Phoenix all year round because you can play even when it's 114. Yes, you can play. It might be at night, it might be more in the morning, but you can play. And so it's year round, and it's so much traffic and so much stuff. But by the way, those hotels will take a while to get built. So if you want to buy a vacation rental, still probably a good idea. I'm still thinking about it. I'm not going to lie. But if you're thinking about it too, let me know, and I can help you with that. Or maybe, maybe we can even partner on a deal or something. I don't know. So keep that in mind. All right. Now let's go back over here. Let's check out this other article. This talks about office towers, apartments could be added to 2 major Phoenix area shopping malls. So now these are shopping malls everybody knows and love if you're in the Phoenix area. This is the Scottsdale Fashion Square, okay, and the Biltmore Fashion Park, 2 of Phoenix's iconic malls. And they're looking to have multifamily units and additional big office space go up next to them. All that traffic, urban living, because Phoenix has been known for being so spread out, guys, is starting to come to Phoenix. You heard it here first at Everything Phoenix YouTube live channel, right? And it's smart. Why? Because there's so much traffic, and people go, well, hold on, is office dead? Like office space, is that dead? Well, that's a great question. Let me show you this article right here. Okay. Major Valley employer puts half of Tempe office space up for sublease. This is right off the 101-202 interchange, guys. And so you're thinking, yeah, it is, Kelly. What are you talking about? But hold on. The main reason why they're doing this company's doing it is because of the hybrid model and looking to save money, obviously, because, if someone's going to come in and work just, 3 days a week instead of 5 days a week, maybe they should sell and condense some of their office space. Because if you go to this article right here from the Phoenix Business Journal, check this headline out. Phoenix area retail vacancies reach new 40-year low in Q4. So office is doing okay. Doing good. Overall, doing good. Doing well, I should say. But Phoenix area retail vacancies reach a new 40-year low in Q4. Now, this is a good thing, okay? Retail, guys, we're talking malls. We're talking strip centers where people actually don't go to Amazon and they go into a store and they actually see other human beings and they buy stuff, right? Or shop, or whatever, right? That's what they're saying. Record low for Q4 in 40 years. 40 years, guys. So with the invent of the internet, with the invent of Amazon, eBay, all these places, Craigslist, you now still have the retail vacancies being as low as they've ever been before. I mean, 40 years ago, that was what, 1983? We didn't have the internet back in 1983, right? Think about that. The internet wasn't even around. I mean, with the government maybe, right? Let's be honest. It wasn't around for like you and me, just as consumers out there. And yet, retail vacancies are lower in Phoenix than they were then. Think about that, guys. That is a underlying economic principle for a good economy. So That just should give someone who's maybe thinking about buying a home right now, but and maybe you really want to, but you're just like, I don't want to, get caught in case it goes down. Well, it could go down in the short term. There's no question about that, especially where rates are kind of going here, but in the short term, right? But long term, have a long term perspective. Too many Americans have, we live in the microwave economy. Too many Americans have that short term perspective, have the long term perspective. And guys, this is one more underlying, foundational economic principle of why potentially long term this real estate market is going to continue to improve, as well as the overall economy for Phoenix, right? The job market, the whole 9 yards. Ken, what's up, man? Thanks for joining. Great stuff. Appreciate you, Ken. Thank you very much. So guys, so you saw this here, right? Think about that. Just let that sink in for a second, right? That is huge, right? It's huge. So they go on and talk about, all the stats behind it, and so how many million square feet they have, and blah 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 blah. And rental, by the way, and that's with check this out. That's with rental rates being up 8% year over year on the commercial side. Hello. So it's interesting what's happening. Now, speaking of rates, we did talk about rates for a second, right? So we got to touch on rates. I don't want to do it, right? Because I just want to bring you guys good news, but that's not realistic. I got to tell you the reality of what's happening out there in the marketplace, and the reality is that you're seeing what's happening here, right? The reality is that recently rates have gone back up from when they just went down when the Fed when the Fed chose, I knew I'd get it out eventually, right? To increase the federal funds rate. Rates went down that same day, right? Mortgage rates. So that's awesome. And then of course they've now jumped back up, primarily due to the CPI information that's continuing to kind of come out as they continue to look at it over and over week after week. Now, obviously, the next CPI major report is due in May, and everybody's still thinking that rates will probably maybe come down because inflation will be down a little bit in May. But who knows, guys, because right now rates have crept back up. And so according to here, we're at 6.67, just as yesterday, I believe. And now you can see right here, we're at 6.78 on a 30-year fixed, guys. So that's not great. We were just at 5.99 like 3 weeks ago, right? So let me tell you a quick story about this, guys, and this will help anyone out there looking to potentially buy as well. This is just something that you need to be aware of, right? We have a client right now that is purchasing a property, and they found a house they want to buy, and they found it on Friday. Okay, so we're helping them get it all negotiated and figured out, and we do that, and of course we get our lender involved, and they're asking for documentation, and they're not receiving it in a timely fashion. Why? Well, because the closing date is 30 days away, and there's on the borrower side sometimes there's just not a whole lot of sense of urgency. However, there should be, and the reason why is because from Friday until today, really, but really yesterday, even the rate that person could have received on Friday, just last Friday, compared to yesterday or today, even Thursday here, was almost 1% higher. It went up that much in this, whatever 5-day period. And so the cost now, if they wanted to still get that same rate, the cost with the lender to buy that rate down actually was somewhere around the ballpark of $65,000. Now, obviously, the borrower is not going to pay $65,000 to get that rate bought down back to where it was last Friday. But because they weren't ready in terms of having their financial documents all ready to rock and roll and given to the lender, and they just kind of slow played it, right? Because they didn't have the house they wanted yet. They weren't sure they'd find it that day or any day for that matter. But guess what happens when you think that way? When you think that way, Murphy's Law strikes, if that is Murphy's Law. I think it's Murphy's Law, right? And boom, the house that you want is all of a sudden staring at you right in front of your face. And then on top of it, the house you didn't think you could get for the price you want, we negotiate for you and you get it done, right? And now you're sitting there going, why didn't I just take that more serious? We should have been listening to our pesky little realtor and should have been giving that information on, stat over to our lender. So you learn and live and learn, guys. And the reality is unfortunately that's where we're at. So until rates, or if they do, which at some point they will, I'm not sure how soon, right? No one knows. But until they actually come back down a little bit, that person's going to be paying a little bit more, unfortunately, on their monthly payment and or in the form of a rate buy down. So Ken, what's going on? Rates at highest level since November 14th. Thank you for that. That's amazing information. Questionable BLS jobs report didn't help either. Looking to recover in the coming months. However, I love that perspective. And we all hope you're right, Ken. So thank you for giving us that knowledge. That's really cool. I knew it was somewhere around there, but having that exact date is really cool information. Thank you, Ken. All right. So, got a few more stuff here to cover, and then we'll wrap this up as we always do around this time, guys. Cromford report, you know, this would not be a show unless we had the Cromford report, guys. So we are definitely showing this. And as you guys know, the Cromford report market index is always based between 90 and 110 as a balanced market. If it's under 90, buyer's market. Above 110, seller's market. Okay. And that's just, you know, and you can break that down per zip code or city or big metroplex. So, but look at this, guys. Listings under contract. This is a good thing. So you can see their commentary as of yesterday or Tuesday, excuse me. The recovery in listings under contract since the start of January has been spectacular, spectacular, as can be seen from the chart below. So listings, guys, were not selling in December. I mean, this is like the last week of December right here. It was bad, Christmas time, right? I mean, it just got worse, and then it got even worse. And if worser was a word, I would say worser, but it's not a word. Okay, I don't think so. And it went all the way down to the end of December, and then here we go. And look at this recovery, guys, from basically last week of December to now. You went from about 5,400 or so properties listings selling to now 9,000. Oh, we needed that. Transactional counts matter. It really, really, really helps the entire economy out, especially in the housing market, right? So this is good stuff. Now, is it going to stay this way? Listen. If the rates keep climbing the way they are, as Ken just said, November 14th was as bad as they are today, right? And you can see right about, you know, that puts the graph right about here, right? You can see my cursor kind of circling around there, right? And look where we are today. So that's going to yo-yo back down potentially, unless we have some just a dramatic, you know, continued increase in demand if rates don't start behaving themselves. So hopefully they start behaving themselves pretty soon, or at least I should say our inflation and or our government officials, right? Who, you know, sometimes like to, you know, do all these things that it's like, hey man, if you just leave it alone, maybe we'll have a, you know, okay chance here. But you know, that is what it is, right? We just gotta get inflation down, guys. Inflation has to just behave and come down, and rates will follow eventually, right? So let's just hope for really good data, you know, when it comes out in May for CPI. That would be awesome for our economy now, especially our housing market. So average list price per square foot, you can see this right here, guys. Okay. Look at this is what I want to point out on this graph here. Check out the difference, the delta between the blue active listings price per square foot right here and what is actually closing, right? Or I should say, you know, actual sell price, either one. Look at the delta. Let's just go to close list price. Look at that. So what's that tell you? That tells you that some of the sellers are now reading the headlines and they're buying in this narrative. And they're going, oh, the market's getting better. So let me just jack my house up, my house price up, right? I can get it. Sure, my house is the best house ever, right? And the reality is like these people are not selling. They're active. They're on the market. They're not selling. No one's buying this home at ththese prices, but they are buying down here. Okay. And look at that delta. If it was like $5 a square foot or 10, okay, fine. Guys, this is called, you know, roughly 340 to roughly, what is that? 275. So 25 plus 40, that's holy cow, bad math. That's like 65, right? 60. So that's a 60 to $65 delta on the price per square foot a seller is asking from the price per square foot a seller is receiving or a buyer is actually purchasing at. So this has to close. Otherwise, this gap has to close. Otherwise, we're going to start seeing a lot more homes sit in the market longer. Okay. And this is data we're trying to help our clients out with, right? When we are advising them and consulting with them on helping them buy a house and helping them negotiate a purchase contract. Okay. All right. So this is the commentary for that. And then last but not least, guys, I want to show you this because it wouldn't be a Everything Phoenix session without showing you the city by city CMI, right? You can see down here what the index means. All right. So right here you have Fountain Hills, which is negative, but still leading the pack, right? Isn't that crazy? They've gone down now 2 weeks in a row, but they're still first place in terms of being a seller's market, best place to sell a house right now currently. Okay. And then you have Chandler, which is just 28% increase, just going gangbusters. Glendale, 28% increase. Glendale got a lot of exposure with Super Bowl. Okay. Avondale, 33%. Now they were really low, but they shot right from being in a decent buyer's market, just right past the balance market. Look at this. Avondale is at 136, 33% increase, okay, from the index last month alone. Wow. Tempe, 31%. Mesa, 29%. So you guys, the more higher price point areas, Cave Creek, Fountain Hills, okay, where's Scottsdale at? Scottsdale, positive, but 3%, are increasing the least or they're going down because they've maintained their values. They're a little more insulated when the market actually moves. Okay, so you're buying location. The three rules of real estate, right? Location, location, location. Right? We all know that, right? And then Peoria, surprise, big increases, right? Goodyear, the Southwest Valley, Goodyear, Avondale, even Buckeye, 12%. 12% is big for Buckeye, right? They've been down in the basement, man. And here they come, right? 12%, they're going up. So, guys, the whole market is improving. This is good. Hopefully, we can ride that wave all the way to at least May, which is our seasonal market anyway, right? Okay, a couple more things I want to just hit on really fast, guys. You can see the commentary here. I love doing this because this is the forecast. Let's read this really quick, okay? We love to predict the future. Not us. I mean, I do too, right? But this is Cromford, who's way smarter than me, trying to predict the future. They're right sometimes, they're wrong sometimes, but here we go. The midpoint forecast for the average monthly sales price per square foot on March 15th. Today's February 16th, right? So this is, the future, right? This is the crystal ball, is 258 a foot, which is 3.5% below the February 15th reading. We have a 90% confidence that it will fall within a plus or minus 2% of this midpoint, i.e., for example, in the range of 255 to 265 a foot. Given that we were too pessimistic last month, we should not be amazed if it happened again this month. Okay. So that is saying that the people who are buying homes, going back to this graph right here, where'd it go? Right here. Okay. They're buying down here. People who are selling are up here. So what it's saying is this line right here potentially could curtail down another 3.5%. So if you're looking to buy a house, any Cook and Advisor real estate, Cook and Associates real estate advisor would definitely take this into consideration when negotiating your purchase contract. But if you're looking to buy a house, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to take that 3.5% delta and we're going to take that into consideration when making the offer or advising our clients on making their offer, because we're trying to at least buffer as best as we can into the future of where prices overall are going. Now, again, it depends on your price point, high, low, medium, whatever it may be, and the area of town, right? That all matters. This is just a general statement, covering the whole Phoenix area, okay? All right, annual appreciation, we saw that. I gave you a little sneak peek in this one. Look at this nice little bell curve, right? I shouldn't say it's that nice. We like to see it where it just goes straight up forever, never, never, right? But that never happens, guys. You know that. Let's overlay a few places. Let's go to Scottsdale. Look at that. Very similar, but hasn't come down quite as much. Let's go to Buckeye. Look at that big hump. Wow, that's dramatic, right? It went flying up and then flying right back down. All right, let's go to Avondale's up right now. Avondale's up, but a little bit more than Phoenix right there, 16.1 to 14.9. Let's go to Paradise Valley, the highest real estate, most expensive real estate in the entire Phoenix area. They have come down like everyone else, but they are insulated a little more. And let's go to where ASU is, Arizona State University, in the lovely city of Tempe, mimicking Phoenix. Very, very much the same, guys. But you can see that we're right back to where we were about 2 years ago in terms of appreciation based on annual square footage, right? So that's interesting, guys. That's interesting. And I put this in here because if you guys are thinking, oh my goodness, there's a buying opportunity just right around the corner because the whole market's going to tank and foreclosures are going to be just everywhere aplenty. No, wrong. Not going to happen, guys. Look at this. I mean, this is by comparison. This is 2010, 41,000-ish foreclosures pending. And then you can see the numbers right there on the screen at the bottom where we currently stand. In 2022, we have more than we do in 2020 and 2021. Okay, so, they're up, but they're not as high as they were in 2019. In fact, not even close. 2019 doubles where we're currently at, what we experienced in 2022. And then 2023, if we take all these off, you can see the little purple mark here. So you can see what 2023 looks like, okay? And there we are. See it up here? Less than 1,000, 960. Okay, so foreclosures are just not happening. I mean, obviously some are, and more could happen. Let's be honest about that, especially as we head into the summer potentially, or if rates stay high potentially. But we're just not seeing that influx, guys. They're out there to be had if you really believe you're going to wait for one and try to find one. But honestly, guys, I wouldn't waste your time. And the reason why is because the banks aren't dumb either. And the banks will sit there and go, okay, we own the property, real estate owned. We're going to sell it now, and we're going to put it out there at what market value is. I used to have several bank accounts, if you will, foreclosure bank accounts, and not like checking accounts. And they would call me up and say, Kelly, what should we sell it for? And they want to know what the market value is today and what the 120-day market value is. That's how they operate. Okay. And because they want to know if they want to fire sale it or not, and they never do. They always start really close to where the market value recommendation is, and that's just what it is, guys. So you could get just as good a deal, if not better, and I would argue better most of the time, by just getting a regular resale property, as long as you have a good agent by your side advising you as to what to do. Okay, because that matters, and all agents are not created equal. There are some great ones out there. There are some not so great ones out there, guys. So please do your research on that. Guys, we have ended, so thank you very much. I really appreciate it. If you could, click on another video, right? Go to our YouTube page, Everything Phoenix, subscribe, like if you don't mind, and watch another video. And just, if you want, just get some popcorn and some soda and just binge watch us for the rest of the evening, right? Just take the rest of the day off. Why not? And watch Everything Phoenix and just be educated and hopefully somewhat entertained. All right, guys, thank you so much. Appreciate you guys. Love you. And until next time, next Thursday, be good. And thanks for joining us on our YouTube Live. Take care.